Okay. These, of course, there's two of them. And we are looking at, okay. Xduoo, because red and gray, like it, space gray, red. MT 601 and 602. And these are Class A hybrid tube amps. Okay? And they're doing them both at the same time because they're, I don't know why there's two. Like, this one with the single tube is $89. This one with the double tube is $99. Both Class A. This one claims 200 milliwatts. This one claims 1,300 milliwatts. This one has a 1/4 inch and a 3.5 millimeter out. That's it. This is the difference. There are sound differences. We're going to get to it. But my point is, why would you make two if one of them is just blatantly better than the other? This one is just better than this one, except for if you want to keep a center image and less soundstage, which you're going for tube. So why would you do that? Hi, everybody. Welcome to Z Reviews. I'm going to test that in a bit. Actually, which one is, are we hooked up? We're going to hook up to that in a bit. So I've had these for a bit. I say bit a lot. I say bit a lot. A lot. I say bit. These are great. You're going to buy one. You're going to buy one of them. I'm pretty sure 90% of you are going to buy the two for $10 more. And I mean, as far as hybrid tube amps go, Xduoo, TA20, TA30, TA10. I actually did that TA03S, and that wasn't a hybrid. It was a 6-pound box, and it was like super weak. And I'm like, oh, of course it wasn't a hybrid. I didn't know. It wasn't the best amplifier I've ever used, but anything hybrid, Xduoo. Shit's made, what, the Valley 2 or Valley 3 Plus, and that thing is excellent. This better. Either one of these. I don't know how it's possible that Xduoo could just be like, oh yeah, we make tube amps. We should probably make a cheap one. Best cheap amp. Best cheap tube amp. It's a hybrid. It is a hybrid, but it's a Class A hybrid. And I have to never unplug the plugs because the single tube runs off of 24 volts. 24 volt 1 amp. And the double runs off 12 volt 2 amps. So, I mean, don't fuck that up. Not all of you are going to have two, so that's not a concern. It's just that this requires twice as much power and half as much amperage. It requires half as much voltage and twice as much amperage. And I guess we'll tour the units. Pick one. They're almost identical. If we flip it over, you have auxiliary in and out, which doesn't make any sense because auxiliary means secondary. What you actually have is a primary in and a primary out. There is no auxiliary in and out. Write that shit down. You have a primary in and out on both, and they both have power plugs, and that's the end of the back. You can preamp out to other things. In fact, I have the GSX Mini here, which is like a $2,000 Class A amplifier, and I'm going to plug it into probably this one, and we're going to preamp out into that just for giggles. The front of this one, the 601, auxiliary in the front. See, that's an auxiliary in. Aux in, it's an auxiliary. Primary in the back, auxiliary in the front. You got a volume knob that is red with a little notch that says where you are, and I kind of wish it was better than that. Color that in white. My marker's not here. Just so you know where it's pointing. And then a single 1/4 inch, and your power switch is a big ass flippy flip toggle. And there is LED in there, but the tubes are glowing. That, you know, it's sort of exacerbating it, but not lying completely to you. Do I have to use another pair of headphones? I mean, here, first of all, I'm using LCD-X, which is not a dynamic. So you kind of want a hybrid for anything planar. And I'm not saying you need to whip out a $1,500 planar to enjoy this. I'm just saying that you fucking can. In fact, let's take them off because these are the rare scenario. In fact, we're going to use you when it comes time to test that. So I had the Grado Hemps out. You can see my modified Grado Hemp 420 Yellow Swag Edition in the High Femin headband. And I've got these, which I'm going to do the review of these today, and I just want to give them a couple more. The Allegra. I want to call them Allegra, but Allegra is something else. You don't want to confuse the two. You go in the store, I want some Allegra, and you're like, do you have allergies? Allegra. Volumes down. I am sourcing both of these off of matching set of SMSL Sanskrit 10th anniversary editions. And I'm doing a thing which is not ready for prime time yet. In fact, I'm going to make that review today as well because I'm doing a thing. Do my thing, a thing. I have these volumed down because I could max out the volume on the DACs. And then the inputs in these, even this is only 200 milliwatts, super fucking, like, I'm down, I think, 12. 13, 14, 15. We'll go down 16 notches. I don't know if that's decibels, but... And I am still loud at noon. On the weak one. On the 200 milliwatt one, I'm at noon loud. Swap it over. We are lacking in power because the power came out. There it is. Well, that sucks. All right, give it a second. Give it a second. It'll click on. Yeah, you can see it's glowing. That's what I get for dicking around with it. Come on. Come on. And we've got sound. I guess that was actually a good demonstration of how long it takes to warm up the tubes and make it go click. See, here's the thing. With them fully if I put these DACs up to full tilt, or if you own a DAC like a Madi, something that has no volume control and it's just full tilt, you can probably easily tell apart the 200 milliwatts versus the 1.3 watts. But when you lower your source, which I recommend if you're going to buy one of these, if you have a DAC that has like a volume control or you're preamping out of another DAC, don't feed these full line level because they are animals. Fucking animals. They just want to rip your headphones asunder. Even the cheap one, it'll distort earlier. What you're buying with the $10, they're doubling the tubes. So if you want a tube swap, you have to buy twice as many tubes. You're having the temperature. This one could melt cheese, and this one could not melt cheese, even though it was just off and it would be warmer than it is currently. But where was I going? Holy God. Should I get back to how they sound? Because they sound legitimately tubish. Tubish? Turkish. 5 minutes Turkish. 3 minutes Turkish. Hold on. Not on this one, but when you plug in on this one and the volume's all the way down, you hear in the headphones the jingle, like the Christmas, like, you know, when you have a dead light bulb, like an old light bulb, not LEDs, kids. When light bulbs, you have filaments, like Thomas Edison invented it, and you hear that like jingle jangle. You hear that plugging this in. So this one will ring, which is probably a good sign because I did that. What was that shit? Freya did that, like their $900 tube pre. So I could hear it in this, and it's only when I plug it in. Do I hear king? They're both so good, but I can't give you a legitimate reason not to spend $10 more and get the one that is wider soundstage and more power and has a legitimate, like, just look, it's got a 3.5 millimeter right there. This one forces you to use an adapter. This one does not if you don't have I don't know. Maybe this one couldn't fit it because the tube is bigger and up front. They couldn't fit it. And they just, okay, don't put it on that one. Put it on this one. It seems like an awful lot of extra, like, re-engineering to remove that for the purposes of this. By the way, wallpaper chosen because soft and cuddly. These are very much my favorite sounding tube hybrids that you can get without spending. I think that one's $400 and that one's $700. And like the Valley 3, I liked it. I really did. But I put it in the yard sale because I'm going to keep one of these two. Probably this one. And we're going to, all right, that song just ended. Andy McKee, Joyland. This is a pleasure. These are pleasure. Look, you're always like, oh, Zeos, you keep making me spend money. These are $100 or this one's $100. I don't see the purpose of buying the single tube. It's a narrower soundstage. It's still warm. It still gives you tubey goodness. It's not like it's balanced. Either one of these is balanced. I wish one of them had a 4. Honestly, I wish all amps, even if you're not a balanced amp, give me a 4.4 Pentacon, because I have so many wires and headphones and IMs now that are just a balanced connector. You can run a balanced amp without a balance. You could buy one of these. Like, oh God, I'm going to destroy my whole desk. You could buy an adapter. Actually, the one over there is the 1/4 inch to 4.4 Pentacon. I do actually have an adapter, a 4.4 Pentacon to 1/4 inch, so you could just, you know, for ease of use. For ease of use, I'd like that. But I don't know the reason you would buy this guy. I am 16 clicks down on these DACs. And these headphones at noon are loud, and at 1 o'clock are blisteringly shaking in my hands loud. And any more than that, and there's going to be distortion, possibly from the focals just going, I'm French, or just from just over. But then this one claims, you know, 5 times the power, and the DACs are set the same. And 1 o'clock, and 1 o'clock is back to the same shaking in my hand brutality. So I haven't found like a need for the extra power. I caution you, gentlemen, that is still, if it's twitchy at 1 o'clock and I'm down here, let's keep going down. 24, let's go 30 decibels. 30, I think that's decibels. 30 decibels down on the DACs. Now I can max out the volume knob. 28, 26, 27. 25 is now very loud. Okay, so that's 25 down there. And very loud there. So, like, I don't even notice. I really hardly even notice the increase in power. So it doesn't really matter. Do you have any of these? What even tube is this? Does it say on the site? Because these APOS sent these to me. And APOS usually has a pretty good description. Does it say what type of tube? I don't know if it does. Oh, yes, it does. The single one is an 6N11 or an E88CC. That's either a 6811 or an E88CC. And then the other one, the small one, what do you use? Does it say? 6J1 tubes. These are 6J1s. The only reason you would buy the single tube is if you wanted one that was hotter, lacked a 3.5 millimeter, and use that specific type of tube, which you have a couple you want to try. Honestly, I don't tube roll. People know I don't tube roll. My patronage chat that pay me $10 a month know that when I needed to know about tubes, I just ask them and I do whatever they say because I can't my head. That is a whole sub hobby in this hobby. I like audio. Then you like to, all right, no, section that off. I like tubes. And then, okay, no, section that off. I like tube rolling. And then you have like, that's the real, those are the people that if you walk into that sort of meeting, and you're just like, hey, my friend, we're gonna hang out. If you're walking to the tube rolling meeting, you are fucking lost. It's like, oh man, these Russian tubes when they use the micro. So yeah, let's just shut that one off because you're good. It's fucking great. But you exist for $10 more, so I'm just gonna use you because it doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah, we'll go 24 decibels because 24 is like a divisible of 6 and 12 because that'll keep me happy. Let's unplug these headphones actually. Plug you back in. M40X is getting a little bit more play recently. In the end times. Where can I put these? You can hog the two. That's perfect. LCD X are plugged into that. I gotta at least, just because I want to make orgasm sounds on camera, I'll plug the Hemps back in. We paused. I don't know why it took so long to do this review, by the way. I've had these sitting around for like weeks. And you know what I think it is? You people complain when they're like, oh, I actually have responded to comments with, well, Zeos likes everything. Another thing that's the greatest thing in the fucking world. My table is filled with great things and then very, very few bad things. Like a couple things I'm like, I have issues with. You know, I didn't give the greatest review ever to the Xduoo XDO5 balanced. A Hollow May DAC was like $4,000 of me doing it. So it's like I have those reviews where I'm not like, oh, gotta buy this. And I have to look at these, and I knew from initial testing that these are going to be a huge fucking yes. And that's why I didn't review them, because I don't want to keep putting out yeses after yes after yes, Hemps and Singzers and these. That's the gold player. I have to space them out. People need time to recover. They got to get their checks back from the government. Oh my God, it's so nice. It's so nice. It's so nice sounding. It's so nice. All right, so let's see. Let's see how well. First, I'll plug this in here because, again, orgasm noises. Because anything, it's almost cheating with the Hemps though. Because the Hemps, and if you, it's just modified because they broke, so now they're these. The Hemps sound like what a perfect tube amp would sound like on everything. You know what's amazing? Even for $100, even at the lowest possible volume, at 24 decibels down on this, the imbalance at the lowest thing is like, and then perfect for all audible levels. Oh, what is this? Daldia Bambino. Dalida Bambino. The Song of My People. Prometheus, Song of My People. This might be my second favorite amplifier to listen to the fucking Hemps on. How weird is that? Does that fucking blow your mind? Blows my mind. My mind exploded. Because I'm like, oh. Because I like a Class A warmth. I like that little bit of like add some more butter to my fucking pate of butter. Just spread butter on top of it. And usually Class A is like, that's enough. But this is like, you know what this is? This is margarine. This is that fucking cancer-causing margarine that you shouldn't be eating and you shouldn't be enjoying. But my God, does it taste good for $100? This is dumb. I'm keeping you. Now let's plug you in here. I'm assuming that I have to unplug that because I actually haven't done this test. I wanted to wait for you guys. Isn't that nice of me? I've got Amazon Basics cables running to those DACs because I literally ran out again of world's best cables. These are the, oh, I almost punched myself in the chin. These are the world's best cables made of Japanese Conair, and these are Amazon Basics wires, which are pretty much good enough. Welcome to Z Reviews, where most things are pretty much good enough. So now we've got LCD X, borrowed from a friend. These are not mine. Turning this up, we are preamp off, RCA in, setting the gain to noon, low gain. So I've maxed this out. So let's raise the DACs now, because the DACs are probably limiting us. I'm going to go to 12 decibels down. I'm still not going to go max. I'm going to max this out. 12 decibels down there. And on the low gain, 1 o'clock. I'm definitely not able to monetize this. I want to thank everyone who's a patron and subscriber, because I don't give a fuck. If your guys are paying me directly for things, I don't care if Google doesn't let me monetize shit. It won't matter. It's pennies on the dollar for what you guys do to support me. And I'd rather have fun making these videos. See, I just spent a good deal of time listening to that because I was powering it through the IFI Diablo. I'm not going to call it the IDSD Diablo. Fuck you. We don't need that middle bit. It's the IFI Diablo. Unless it's going to be another Diablo. IFI Neo Diablo. Fuck you. So I know how this sounds. And I could tell you right off the bat, it sounds different on this. Now, whether that's worse because cheaper DACs and running through a tube, or just fucking amazing because this... It kind of I'm adding to a very, very warm Class A amp, which from the outputs of a very, very warm Class A amp with tube, more tube to the this is a shit show of cheap into fucking expensive. I'm wearing, these are $1,500. This is $2,000. What happens when we bridge some $100 DACs with a $100 unit and then play it? I still smile. Truman Show, It's a Life. Oh, yeah. 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 No. Yeah. So the only problem that has now is you can't switch it. Like, you could use this for speakers, too. You don't have to use it for another amplifier. You could hook up Adam T5Es. Where the hell are my Adam T5Es? Down there on the floor. I was looking at you, Emotivas. Your Adams are on the floor. You could have Adam T5Es. Just get a RCA. I think they'll just need an RCA adapter. I think they'll just have direct RCA. Hook it up to this. The only problem is you can't switch it. So you'd have to literally shut the power off on the Adams with a power strip or something. Because you're going to be running your headphones, your headphones are going to be doing headphone things. See, because now I've turned the DACs up. So now this... Well, I got to unpause it first. Where's that? Why did that go over there? That's dumb. So now... Yeah, now very loud is at noon because I raised it up. But it's also... This knob is controlling what's going out of there. So if you wanted to use this as a preamp for speakers... You would have to unplug your headphones and then flip a switch to turn the power on to your powered monitors. Or if you have a separate speaker amp, then turn that on. Look, I recommend a lot of shit in this channel that is so much more fucking money than this. So much more money than this. This is worth $100. This is an exciting review for me. I'm excited because it's cheap. What did Joker say in Dark Knight? Gunpowder and gasoline, because they're cheap. They're fun and they're cheap. Gunpowder and gasoline. Good and cheap. So yeah, no, high praise, Xduoo. You faltered a bit on the TAO3S. So if you want to find a bad review that Zio's put out of a product, he's like, that one. And if you want to know the best tube hybrid, there you go. Perfect. And I've listened to those old Bravos. I've listened to a bunch of cheap tube hybrids, and finally someone other than the fact that I prefer to feed it real quiet from a adjustable DAC, I changed nothing else. I changed nothing else. It's got I kind of want a little bit of a light though. Like this fucking, that is on. That is orange. This does not have LED. Does it have LEDs? Yeah, it has little LEDs, but they're real dim. And the tube glow is oh, it's tube glow. I just wish I could I can't. Is it on? I can't tell it's on from here. All I could do is look at the actual switch to see if it's flipped on or off. I love how my floor is sandy, by the way. I think that's the paint getting destroyed by the wheels of my chair. It's fantastic. Breathe it in. It's good. Yeah, so anyway, yes, this is a fucking yes. There's no other way to say yes. Is that playing? That is playing. So why don't I hear Richard? Now I hear it. What was that? Huey Lewis in the news? Oh my God. Yes. I don't want to spend all fucking video saying yes. So I'm just going to say it once. Yes. This, only if you have those tubes, or for some reason you want a hotter tube amp, like physically hotter, with a slightly narrower soundstage. Because the two tubes breaks it apart and brings it out. So I mean, hell, for fucking $90 extra, buy them both, compare them, and give one to your best friend. Not your shit friend. Give it to a best friend. Enjoy the download of the cute-ass fucking fluffy wallpaper. And that's it. I'm done. Patreon, subscribe star, support this channel, see reviews early. If these are not in stock, or if this video comes out to patrons in like mid-March, but then you don't see it public till like April or May, that's because all my patrons bought them, which is one of the reasons you join Patreon or subscribe star, so you could see these reviews early and get to the stock before the fucking public does. Second reason would be to join the yard sale, where this one will probably definitely be in the yard sale. Because look at it. It's so cute. And although this one has a little more soundstage, there's literally no reason not to fucking own that. So your bidding is going to start at $0. I do 10 to 12 to 15 items sometimes a month. Just items that companies have sent me, I've bought, or users have donated to the channel. And if you live content in the United States, I ship for free. 1/3 shipping international. And if you want to ask me questions, please don't try to message me on any of the platforms, because they are fucking garbage. You can try on Subscribestar, because I literally still have emails on for that. But Patreon is just a huge pile of dog shit for answering questions in the thing. I hate to do it, but $10 gets you in the private behind-the-scenes Telegram chat, where you can literally message. You can @ Zeos Pantera in the chat. I'm in the chat. Just 200, actually it's like 300 people in the chat now, all paying $10 a month. That's my mortgage payment. And if they say, hey Zeos, how big is the Diablo? Could you measure it for me? I just come down here and I measure the Diablo for them. There you go. They say, hey, I got this budget and I need to put 19 speakers in this room. And I'm like, and then everyone jumps in and helps. It's fantastic. I love that place. Not just because it pays my mortgage, but because other people help too, and I can actually sit on the toilet and answer questions other than the fucking Patreon app. I don't even have the Patreon app installed. Jesus, God, it sucks. So yeah, wallpaper, Patreon, subscribe star, the forums. Don't forget to check out the Hi-Fi Guides forums, which is becoming its own thing. It's beautiful. It's blossoming like a potato plant. Actually, potato plants blossom under the ground. But that's perfect. That's what I like. An underground audio forum that people are actually nice to each other. And we don't believe in expensive cables, do we? That's what I thought. Yeah, so that's it. Links to these, links to the headphones I have here, and those DACs will be coming up again in another video, which I should probably film now. And I'll talk to you all tomorrow for a new review. And stick around. And don't forget to check out the unboxing channel and the cooking channel. Linked somewhere in this channel's other channel thing. There's a thing that, I don't know, here it is.